Coaches Show here at Rio Rojo, brought to you by BK Distributors. BK Distributors are our headline sponsor all football season long. Hey, listen, if you need anything with a logo on it, go see the BK trio of businesses. BK Distributors, BK Apparel. And I always want to thank Rio Rojo, the best Mexican food around, for letting us have this Coaches Show every Thursday night. This is week 10, and it's week 10 of Coaches Shows. And gosh, we got a good one tonight, buddy.
Yeah, look, Darron, we had a good game last week against Marshville. I don't think everybody was expecting us to control the game like we did. Look, we controlled the game. One of the things we're going to go over first, let's go over the offense for Buckeye, give them that, and then I'll go over the defense for that.
Gladly. Listen, the offense was great last week. You know, we lost Caden Grimmett the week before last, in the middle of the game, collarbone, broke his collarbone. Poor guy, he had such a great season going. He was doing great throwing the ball, leading the offense. And listen, it was next man up for Buckeye. We had to step up. And Colt Vircher came in there, and he, you know, it took him a little while 2 weeks ago to get it going, but listen, he come out Friday night, first play from scrimmage, handoff to big Jim Barlow. Jim Barlow takes it from the house from about 60 yards out. Big play for the Buckeye offense. So let's just go over a few stats for Buckeye. Listen, rushing the ball, Jim Barlow had 85 yards and a touchdown. Colt Vircher called his own number, and he had, he rushed the ball 11 times himself. Ty Curtis is back there with that two-back set. The twin-headed beast back there.
Yeah, look, they've been really good all year as far as, like you said, they're both downhill runners. And as soon as you give them, they're ready for the ball immediately. I mean, they're taking off. As soon as they get that ball, it's full steam ahead. There are a lot of downhill running. And it's hard to stop them behind the line of scrimmage. Even when you do stop them at the line, they're falling for that 1 or 2 yard gain every time.
They are, because they both, like you said, they run super hard. Listen, Colt Vircher, he'd come in, he had 15 completions, 15 attempts, 140 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a backup quarterback. That's a defense on the outside linebacker. Comes in, steps up, and throws 3 touchdown passes.
And I mean, our receiving core is, I would put them up against anybody almost. They're not real big, but they're quick. They're great in space, and they go up and catch the ball. They run good routes. Bryce Worthen, he led the charge last week. He had 3 receptions, 57 yards and a touchdown. Hayden Boone, coming off a huge week the week before, had 2 receptions, 35 yards and a touchdown. Fitzback had a catch for 21 yards, and it was a big catch at the time. Warner got in there, he had 18 yards. Ty Curtis caught him a touchdown pass out of the backfield. So the offense was really, really clicking. Friday night, from the first play, they scored 14 first downs. Like I said, we threw for 140 yards. We didn't lose any fumbles.
Yeah, and our fumbles, we've been protecting the ball pretty good for the last 2 or 3 games. And the field conditions on last Friday night, it was very wet.
Yes.
And it was hard. You could tell everybody was ripping for the ball. We did a good job securing the ball. Turnovers, that's one of the things we've worked on. Our turnovers margin has been real well.
It was great the other night. Listen, penalty yards. Penalty yards is a big thing coming in the first of the season. Everybody's getting used to the system. Everybody hadn't got to the place where they needed to be yet. Last Friday night, we had 3 penalties for 37 yards.
Yeah, look, 3 penalties on a high school football game. Week 9, you will take 3 penalties for only 37 yards. I can guarantee you that. If you're any head coach, especially from where we came from, because you remember we got up to 100 yards, 115 yards, and our defense is not jumping off the ball. We're doing a real good job of playing what Coach Aaron North likes to call discipline football.
That's exactly right. You only had 3 penalties for 37 yards. Excuse me. You're having a good ball game. But listen, time of possession was pretty even with both teams. Both teams, I think, had it for 22 minutes. So our offense stayed on the field a lot. Our defense stayed on the field a lot. Both played good. Let's hear a little bit about that defense.
Yeah, look, our defense, like you said, has been lights out all year. I mean, we're giving defensive awards away all year for players of the game. We're going to go into some of the tackles and stuff in this game here. Ty Curtis been playing phenomenal all year as that middle linebacker, one of those middle linebackers. He had 3 solos, 4 assists, 7 total tackles. Colt Burchard, who also played quarterback, 3 solo tackles, tackle for a loss. Gage Belgar's been having a good year all year. He has 1 solo, 3 assists. Look, Justin Hunt, I still think the last 2 weeks of Justin Hunt, he's been playing some of his best football, as he's had to step up for some of those things to give because our middle linebackers are having to get a little bit of a rest because they're going both ways. When he does do that, he's playing really good football the last 2 weeks. He also come out with 6 tackles, 3 solo, 3 assists. Mason Crooks was our first player of the game.
Oh yeah.
He's always got that good first move. Look, he's been playing phenomenal. He had a tackle for a loss. He had 3 sacks on the night as well too. 3 solo tackles.
And listen, he's not very big.
He's not a big
But he's
guy
playing
at all.
off the
He's
ball.
always in the backfield. Like I said, those first 1 or 2 steps in that move that he makes allows him to get into the backfield there because he was there all night. Now, Jackson Spradden, you know, he's that middle ball hawk that we've been talking about all year. He made, when he does come up and make that tackle, that's touchdown saving tackle.
I think he had 2 the other night.
He had 2 because they broke 2 big runs. And if he does not make that tackle, it's a different ball game on the scoreboard.
Right, and you know, our defense, they allow him to do, when he does that, our defense bends a little bit, but they don't break very
That's
often.
right. Look, he does a fantastic job of staying there, reading the pass. Once it breaks down, that quarterback takes off running when those linebackers are out in space there. He comes up and makes a stop there. Michael Jenkins also had a good night. Look, Brady Hope's been playing really good ball too. 4 tackles on the night. Which actually, I'll talk about this, it'll be a little prematurely, but Preston Willis is going to be our player of the game this week. Look, 4 solo tackles, 6 assists, 10 total tackles, and 3 sacks. And he also, remember, he's also a weapon. He also had an onside kid that gave us there. Look, Wade Jenkins got in a little bit there. He had an assist. Hayden Boone was finally playing defense like I've been trying to get him for the last 2 weeks. He had 4 solo tackles. But let's talk about Jim Burley too. Remember, Jim Burley has been playing 2 weeks on the defensive side of the ball. 2 weeks. This week he had 9 tackles, and last week him and Ty Curtis combined for 25 tackles.
We have a good linebacker.
Our middle linebacker core, once our defensive ends turn them in, it's lights out right there.
He also had a sack and a tackle for a loss.
That's right. I'm telling you, man, he has been playing phenomenal the last 2 weeks. So that's pretty much there. Look, they held the offense, Marksville offense. They had 15 first downs. Look, they had 91 rushing yards, 127 passing yards. They only gave up 1 TD. We got a fumble. They had 6 penalties for 45 yards. We held them on 3rd down 8 times. And they were 2 for 5 on the 4th down conversions. And like you said, their time of possession, our time of possession pretty much matched. It was around 22 minutes apiece. But we knew we were going to have to go into that game and win that time of possession. But we said we were going to have to finish our drives. And that's the difference in what Buckeye did and what Marksville did. Every time Buckeye got the ball, they drove the ball substantially and then put the points on the board.
And that's what you want, a balanced attack like that. If you can keep your defense and your offense on the ball, I mean, you always want to be more, you know, on time of possession. But we were scoring quick, so you can't blame them for scoring, right?
Yeah, look, it's several of those that if you sustain those drives that we've been doing all year, we hold the ball 35 minutes. We worked some good runs to get us down there pretty quick to score those points. So that's why our possession is probably not up as much as it is, because Buckeye controlled the whole game. From the time that we broke the first 50 or 60-yard run to the time that the clock expired with no time left on it, Buckeye Panthers controlled that football game all game.
And what I like to really see about it, you talked about the opening run. Jim Burley goes for like 60 yards on the opening period of the game. And listen, they started shutting that run down, so we just stepped up and passed it.
That's right. Look, they knew that they were going to have. This is what has been taken every game. You're either going to have to stop Jim Burley or we're going to run him down your throat.
Right.
If you stop Jim Burley, that's fine, because then we're going to pass the ball.
And when you have an offense like that,
that's right. When you have an offense like that, you can go 6-3 and stuff like that. Because like I said, nobody was expecting the Panthers to go 6-3 with a new program, new coach, new everything.
No, not at all.
But when you're that well balanced, that's when that record starts showing up.
And listen, I was super proud of the Panthers Friday night. You know, me and Josh called the game out of the truck. It was a little different, but I liked it. But we played a great football game on both sides of the ball, all three sides of the ball. Special teams, we're going to talk about that in a little while when we get Preston up here. But special teams, offense, and defense, the Panthers put together a great ball game. And listen, there wasn't a lot of people giving us a chance down there in Marshville last week.
No, look, everybody thought it was going to come down to the wire. Like I said, they thought it was going to be a 1 or 2 possession game, including myself too. I thought we were going to have to win the turnover battle, and then I thought we were going to have to win the time of possession battle.
Right.
But what we did was physically control the whole football game. From start to finish. Once we started on offense, you know, we took the ball, and I think we actually won the toss. And I believe,
I think we won
the toss and decided to receive.
Yep.
And look, what better way to start that than a 60-yard gain down to the 3-yard line and then punch it in, and then stop them 3 and out, and then put 7 more points on the board.
I mean, that takes all the air out of the sail.
Yeah, I mean,
right off the bat, when you push one in.
And you could tell, once they started controlling that game, it gets, because Marshville had to realize pretty quick there into the second half, hey, if we don't do something now, we can't catch this football team.
Right. We started limiting their possessions towards the end of the game where we had such a big lead that possessions mattered. So they had to start pressing a little bit, and defense stepped up. You know, they allowed 1 drive, which, you know, it's a football game. It's
like I said, hands down for the last 9 games now, hands down. You take 2 football games away where we gave up big points, okay, and minus 1 drive, our defense have played defensive championship football.
Oh, yes. And look, we look to carry that in this week coming up. But let's talk a little bit about this player of the game. All right, Panther fans, listen up. We're fixing to announce the player of the game. Me and Josh call him Preston the Weapon Willis. Had 4 solo tackles, 6 assists, 10 total tackles, 3 sacks, an onside kick. He kicks extra points. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's fun to watch. And look, I think it's only his first or second year to play too. So I mean, for what he's doing, it's impressive.
Everybody, put your hands together for Preston Willis. Congratulations, buddy. Thank you.
Gonna sit up to the mic there, buddy. Talk loud where they can hear you. We've been saying some people can't hear people up here, so we're gonna let you talk all you want to.
Preston. What a game. We've been watching you all season. You know, we played football with your daddy. We know what kind of pedigree you come from. We played football with your uncles. A family full of hard-nosed football players, and you're continuing that legacy. And listen, dude, we couldn't be more proud of you. And not only, I don't know if you know, we call you the weapon, but every time you line up for a kick, we don't know what's going to happen. Because we've seen you kick in the end zone, we've seen you pooch it, we've seen you onside kick it, and I'm not sure if y'all didn't do an X the other night, and Bryce kicked one.
He did.
So we don't know what's going to go on.
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, so and then once that happened, I was like, I don't even think Preston kicked that ball. I think Bryce kicked that ball. Was that a planned thing there? Because in all honesty, I thought we got 2 onside kicks. But
I thought we got the first one.
I know we got the first one. I thought we got another one too there. And look, there a week or so back, you hooch kicked it, and they didn't call a fair catch. You actually always went down there and caught the ball because you're pretty quick. So, I mean, what's going through your mind when you're on the kickoff? I told you, kind of like a waterboard kicker. You're looking for whoever you're going to look at, and then you're going to kick it as hard as you can to it.
I kind of just do whatever the coaches tell me.
That's a good plan.
I never know what I'm going to kick or what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I just kind of do whatever.
You just ain't scared of it either.
No, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, Preston, we talked a little bit about kicking, and we're going to talk some more about it, but listen, defensive side of the ball, Friday night you seem to be everywhere. How was you able to be around the ball all night?
Well, Marshville O-line, they weren't very physical. They were slow, and we just used our speed and size to get around them.
I like it. You played downhill a lot. Listen, 3 big sacks, 1 resulting in a safety. I know you felt good because I saw you pumped up on that.
Yeah, he dropped back, 3 drop step, and then he ran outside, and I hit him. Then Justin and Jim came in and helped me finish the job.
That's what I'm talking about. And y'all play good team defense. You can tell, you know, between you, Jim, Ty, Mike, all of them.
All 11 on the defense.
Yeah.
We can tell all 11.
It's like y'all are racing to the ball, and when it gets to that point, it's fun, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
And once me and Darren's been talking about it all year. Once you have that little competitiveness now inside out there on the field, with the 11 that's on the field, who can get there first and break down and make those tackles, that's when football really becomes fun on the defensive side of the ball. Because remember, you have one job, and that's to attack the football. That's it. And once you can start doing that, that's a lot how when we played with your dad and with your uncles there. We had those athletes on there that once you got that mentality going, I'm not going to let him beat me. I'm not going to let him beat me. I'm going to be the guy there. Man, good things happen, and this defense has done that all year, Preston. I'm really impressed with it, actually. I mean, I really honestly believe that the defensive side of the ball is one of the reasons that we're 6-3.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have kept the Panthers, when we did struggle on offense, or when we had to get something going on offense, our defense was good enough and just gritty enough to keep us in football games that a lot of people didn't think we would have a chance to win, and you guys did that.
So, let's talk about the onside kicks and stuff a little bit. Did you practice this over the summer, or all of a sudden you just turned into a Willis and decided you were going to kick it when you could?
I kind of just, what you said the second time, just turned into a Willis and kicked it.
That's what Willises do, man. They do with their ass.
And you punt the ball now?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I'm telling you, man.
The weapons all over the field. I don't know how many extra points you kicked, but it was a lot. You stealing possessions with the kickoffs, and that's huge. When you get stealing, that's another turnover. That's like getting a pick, man. So that's huge for the Buckeye football team. You're playing great defense. You've really stepped up, especially in the past few weeks. You can tell you're comfortable in your position now,
yes,
and you're playing it. You're reading it well. We're just super proud of you, man. Listen, like I said, you carry on the legacy. Because, that name means something in the football field. And we love to watch you play, and we're just proud of you. And listen, hang out in your room.
And I'll tell you this, I'm still going for the 3 points. I will look 3 points from you.
Josh has been wanting you to kick
I've
field
been
goal.
wanting you to kick a field goal since week 1.
I like touchdowns, but if you kick one, I'm okay with it. But listen, we're super proud of you. Everybody give a big round of applause for Preston, the Weapon Willis. All right, Josh, what a player, man. What a player.
Yeah, look, I've been saying, we joked about it the first year. It's a big shoes to fill there, man.
Oh,
like I said, those names are going to ring through those walls for a long time.
big sheets of field. And listen, he's doing a great job. He's got another year for us too.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the man of the hour. Everybody put your hands together for Buckeye High School head football coach, Coach Aaron York.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good to see a kicker get some recognition right there.
Man,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, he's a little more.
And nose guard, yeah.
I say a little more than that.
It's always exciting when that happens.
Uh-oh.
Darren, I have to fix you there a little bit, I think. Put it up in there.
Just run it back through itself, I guess. You should be all right. But listen, we're glad to have you on there. It's week 10. Coming off a big win against Marksville, that's always fun. Before we get into all the football stuff, let's get to our segment. Get to know your coach. Sorry, Coach, so, you grew up in the 90s. You're a 90s kid.
I did?
We played a lot of video, EA Sports, Madden, NCAA.
Oh, boy. Okay.
What kind of video game console? Were you a Sega man, a PlayStation,
Keep going backwards.
Atari?
Well, not that far back.
You were a Nintendo guy.
I was a Nintendo guy.
Nintendo guy.
Now, I will have to self-report.
Better than Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo, buddy.
I'm going to tell you, if you would have gone back to 2001, 2, 3, and 4, you would have walked into our apartment in college. We had Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to think I'm a nerd for this, but Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario. We had Dr. Mario tournaments in our apartment.
We had some Mario Kart
Now, we like some Mario, but Nintendo was our go-to. I think at some point I had a Sega, but you can't beat a good old Nintendo. Duck Hunt, Mario, I mean, you name it, those were...
Look, the Mario's were fun. We still play Mario with our kids sometimes. We do the Mario Kart. And look, me and Darren grew up all our lives together. Everything we do, we could be playing. I mean, it could be anything.
I'm going to try to beat you, right? It's a competition.
And I want to win.
That's it.
You know, so, and we have Mario Kart tournaments all the time.
I still got my Nintendo.
That's what you have to blow it out. And do
You
the
had,
whole-
right, you got to blow the dust off of it, stick it in. Yeah. They don't know nothing about that out there.
That's another time. It was a fun time.
All right, yeah. So Mario guy, good to know. We didn't know that.
There you go.
All right, heading into week 10. You know, we're not talking about football yet, but just week 10 at Buckeye. Are you feeling more comfortable here? Are you sort of getting in a groove?
Oh, yeah, no, this is feeling more and more every day like home around
There
here.
you go.
So.
That's what we want it to be. Like
Yep.
home. Like home. Going to question 3 here, we're going to talk to you. Kids don't play a lot of outside pickup
Okay.
ball, like two-hand touch football game. Me and Josh used to play, if there wasn't two-hand touch football, maybe tackle football.
Right.
We played wiffle ball all day.
Yep.
You know, kids don't do a lot of that. We learned a lot from that stuff. Do you think that's the way sort of like you were raised?
No, that's, you know, you talk about video games and Nintendo. We really, like, it was a treat for us to go in and play video games, though. Like, that really wasn't what we did. What we did was the neighborhood boys, and at the time we lived on a dirt road, and there was 4 or 5 houses that there was boys that we grew up with, and, you know, you'd fight to see whose house you go play, you know, basketball at, or you played baseball at, or football, and I just so happened to be the youngest one in the neighborhood, so, you know, I was playing against older kids, but no, you were outside playing all the time, and I mean, you'd ride your bike down the road, go play, get beat up a little bit, come back, and you know,
Do it again the next
right, do it again the next day. But no, that's where you learn how to compete.
Parents made you get outside. Like, my kids don't understand. You wasn't afforded to stay in the house.
No, you don't sit
They
inside.
told you, get outside. I don't care.
Yep.
You go do something. That's right.
Yep.
Don't stay in here. And, you know,
Well, we wanted to as well.
And if you weren't playing, you know, pickup games, then you were working on whatever sport you were in. So we were forced, say, if you weren't playing pickup games, then you were on a free throw shooting basketballs, or you were sitting there. We had a pitching square set up that, hey, you had to hit or hit off a tee or throw into it if it was baseball season. If it was football season, then you were working on catching so many footballs. I mean, you were out. I mean, it was just one of those things that you had to do.
I can remember me and Darren, when we would go hunt at the camp, and this is honest, we would make an aluminum foil baseball.
Yep.
Right? And we would hit, I don't know, 30 feet, 40 feet, and we would pitch. You would have to hold your hands like this.
Yep.
And you would have to throw it in that circle. If you didn't get it, it was a ball.
Right, yeah.
And we played a 9-inning baseball
Yeah.
game like that. That's just stuff that my kids don't understand. So that's why we kind of asking these questions, because people don't understand that.
It breeds competitiveness.
It does.
And you know, it makes you better at your craft. And I think, you know, more kids ought to do it nowadays. And hopefully this group here is maybe getting away from some of it and going back to it, which I really like.
I think that getting out and just getting outside, not staying inside, that's the biggest things. And, you know, you could go to practice and listen to a coach, but to really breed that competitiveness and stand up for yourself, go neighborhood game.
Yeah, especially if you're the youngest like that.
That's right.
You really got to fight.
That's it.
Get there.
That's right. Well, look, we're going to go into the Marksville recap.
Okay.
You know, it was a good game, I thought, for the Panthers. So, you know, on the road, we finally get our first win. What about that? That had to make you feel good there.
Yeah, no, we were, you know, that was one of our challenges for the weeks, and something that we were challenging the kids that, you know, we're 0 for on the road, and we were 0 for 2 in Avoyelles Parish. So you know, that was really, as a coach, it was stressing me out. And, you know, we've harped on, you got to learn how to go on the road and win. You know, as this program progresses and, you know, we start getting into the playoffs year in and year out, there's going to be times that you go on the road, you got to learn how to win those games on the road in an environment that's not yours. And, you know, it's nice to sit there and say that you win every game at home, but you don't have those comforts sometimes. And so,
I mean, I think your dad said it best. I mean, champions win on the road.
win on the road and come from behind.
I mean,
That's it.
champions have to win on the road to become
Yep.
champions.
You got to overcome obstacles when you go on the road. Not just being away from your home, the things that are normal, the things that are comfort. You got to go to a different environment. We can say what we want to, but the officials, the opposing team, the opposing fans. I mean, everything is just different, and you got to learn how to overcome those things.
Well, they look like a completely different team from your first, couple road games to this last one. They look really, really good all night long. And talking about the offense a little bit, Berger and the offense, they stepped up big. They look like a well-oiled machine, and that is impressive to say coming off a game where you lost your starting quarterback week
Right.
week 8.
Yeah, no, you talk about next man up or, someone else has got to step up and do the job. Colt is, a picture-perfect example of that. He's a heck of a linebacker, but he's coming into his own as a quarterback. And I think that, he's a different type quarterback than Caden. Both of them have their strengths, and I think that Colt, brings just a bigger body, a more of a run threat, and so they've got to respect that. Teams that knowing that hey, he can take off with it at any point in time. But I think that that the team ourselves right now we are a different team than we were earlier this year. And we always have told our kids that we don't want to play our best football at the beginning of the year. We want to be playing it at the end of the year. And so we put together 2 good games. The goal is to find the third game going into the playoffs. And so, but, a lot of that starts with Colt, offensively, leading the offense and, leading the defense.
That's right. And he's, both sides of the ball, he's having to step up, and he has really stepped up, along with a lot of other ones. I mean,
we could go down the list of everybody that stepped up up to this point.
Like I said, you can go down the list all night. Especially that's what is so hard when we talk about defense, and you got to pick just one player on defense that you want to call a key player for that week. Look, man, these 11 guys that's out there on that field every single week play phenomenal football.
Right.
And like I said, I think you can see it from the booth. I know you can see it on the field. You probably hear it in the locker room. It's that little bit of competitiveness inside out there on that field that they're like, you know what? I'm gonna make it for you, man. And I think you've seen that grow real well over the last 4 weeks for sure.
Yeah, no, I think as this season has progressed, and if you've been around the program, not only are we a different team, but we're different people. Right. Throughout not just a football season, but a basketball season, baseball, whatever it is, there's people that they jump off the train, if you will, and they don't finish the season up. And one thing that I tell the guys, I said, those who stay will be champions. And these guys, you brag on this bunch of guys. It's been a new scheme come in, a new attitude come in, say what you want, a new style of doing things, and they have hung around. They've bought into what we are selling them. They're a bunch of hard-working guys, and they are reaping the benefits right now.
That's exactly right.
I'll say, I'm not going to put you on the spot because I don't like doing that. But, in your mindset, you're thinking that you're not going to be 6-3 right now, coming in with a new program, a new scheme.
Right.
There's no way you think you're coming about going to be 6-3, sitting number 12 in the state with a chance to win a whole playoff game.
Your goal is to go out and win every ball game. But realistic, you got to look at what's realistic versus what you're right. And so
realistic, you went 4-6 this year, you were going to be doing good.
But you go back and look though. I would love to go back and play the South Bowl game right now. I would love to go back and play the Voiles game right now. And let's just see where we're at. So
I completely agree with that.
We can't say that we're far off. I think the Bunkie game that's just it's an outlier, but that gives us that gives us our goal that what we're working towards. But the other two, I'd play them right now again and just let's see what happens. So
I think there's a lot of talk. You're not going to hear it, but I think it's a lot of talk inside the district. Well, Buckeye's really not.
Right.
They got creamed you know.
Yep.
And then you got these other people that's gonna go play bunker. We're gonna show you what
Yep.
to do. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Because it went just the same way for you. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
Bucky is a different caliber football team with those two athletes that they do.
Yeah, they're
They're
that's
step
what we're trying
above
to get to.
everybody in
Yep.
division.
And then, you know, that level.
Yep.
But listen, you know, some people look at the defensive stat, and you know, they look down at them solo tackles, and that's what they really look at. But if you're looking at a good defense, those assist numbers should be where they're at.
You don't want a whole lot of solos,
That's exactly
meaning
right.
that you're not getting a lot of hats to the
That's
ball.
right. You're not getting more people flowing to the ball.
We
These
have so
assists-
many assists.
That's what me and Darron were talking about. You know, the last few weeks, man, those assists
Yeah.
has been out there. And you've had people in double-digit assists for the past 3-4 weeks.
Over the course of a ball game, it hurts a lot more when 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys hitting you than it does just one.
It takes a toll on
And
us.
it takes a toll. And guess what? By the third, fourth quarter, those guys don't want to be hit by the defense anymore. And that's one of those things that, you know, we've harped on. A little say and roll call at the ball. You know, when the teacher sits there and takes roll, don't you be late.
You better be there.
Right, you better be there. And so we want all of our guys to be at the ball. But, you know, you play 4 quarters, that takes a toll on the running back. And, you know, they don't run it quite as hard in the third and fourth quarter that they did the first and second.
Like you say, when that one guy's tackling, you know, the next time you may try to bring the leather a little bit more. But when you got 3 or 4 guys tackling,
Yep.
like you said, it starts going to where, you know, I don't want to go on the outside of that hole
That's
maybe
it.
quite as much as I wanted to
That's-
last time. You know, I think Forrest is the defense coordinator.
He is. He's done it.
Forrest Grimm has done a phenomenal job on the defense side.
I can't say enough about Coach Grimm and Coach Forrest, the whole defensive staff, Justin Belgard, BJ Crane, Coach Morgan, Stuart Morgan. That side of the ball, they've done a great job this year. The kids have adapted to their scheme. And, you know, going into it, I talked with Coach Forrest about, you know, what matches our style. Look at our guys. You know, we aren't big body guys. And so, and it's always one of those things that, you know, we could sit here and say, hey, we're going to run this scheme, but the kids don't fit it. And so I got to give them credit that, hey, they looked at what fits our kids and they developed the scheme around what fits our kids. I mean, they're having a phenomenal year over there.
Yeah, I think everybody in that ball in, and I think, like you said, I mean, hats off to them. I don't know how you can do it any better. Like I said, I think they're one of the reasons that we're 6-3.
I agree.
They've kept us in the ball game
Yep.
to where we've been able to get that offense going.
Yep.
I think they've done fantastic.
So talking about the defense, how was y'all able to listen? The Marksville running backs were super fast. How was y'all able to contain them and shut them down? I mean, they didn't have 90 yards rushing.
Right. No, you know, you say that tip your hat to Marksville. They're very athletic.
Very athletic, yes.
But you know, when you're able to keep them in between tackle to tackle, tight end to tight end, and you're not having to run 54, 53 and a third yard sideline to sideline chasing after these guys, you know, that helps us out right there. And so I think between, you know, the scheme of and our outside linebackers and ends, making sure that those guys were contained, and our physical nature, I think that that's really what helped us defensively. And, you know, once again, our style of defense, we're going to bring 2 or 3 guys each snap, wherever it comes from. And so that's tough on an offense, looking at it from an offensive perspective. Hey, guess what? You know, you got to be really disciplined, knowing that I may have a guy coming from here. I got to have rules, and I got to stick with my rules. And if you don't do that, then our defense is going to give you problems.
Yeah, look, like I said, I think we got them in some situations Friday night to where like we were having to fight, you know, earlier in the year. We were backing them up to where it was 2nd and 14,
Right.
To where you're not going to try to, you know, or it was 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, where you know you can stop. You've been stopping that dive all night.
Right.
So it's going to try to get that pass a little bit there, and
Yep.
you were able to bring those guys in and get some of those sacks. I don't know exactly. I think you had like 6 sacks on the night, 6 or 7 sacks.
Yep.
They were in the backfield all night, and a lot of times they can get him because he's so athletic. But you know, it was fun to watch. And like I said, it makes it hard on offense when they don't know where the blitzers are coming from.
Yep.
We do a really good job as our defense of disguising our pressure. And like you say, if the offensive line don't make the right call,
Yep.
they're going to be in a bind. So we talked about Preston Willis earlier. He's our player of the game last week. Hey, great kid. He's flying all over the ball. Just a little bit on the special teams, coach. Listen, when he steals the possession, that's huge for you.
Oh, yes, we do.
And did you know going into the season you had a weapon like that?
Not to this magnitude, but he's done a phenomenal job. I think him and Coach Morgan scheming up the special teams. Coach Morgan's our special teams coordinator, working with Preston, giving different looks, and keeping people off guard when it comes to us kicking off. I mean, you don't know if you got to have a hands team out there.
Right.
We showed a couple weeks ago that we can kick it deep when we need to. The pooch kicks, those are all things that he can do it all. And so it is a weapon. I know that, we got to see him put 3 on the board.
Hey, I was like, I think one of them was against Menard.
I'm going to blame that on the head coach right here. So.
I'm okay with touchdowns.
He's going to get his shot.
I'm just thinking to myself, I told Darron, I said, look, his onside kick, he's kicked it out of the end zone on the kickoff.
Yeah.
He pooch kicks, he does this, he recovers his own kicks.
Yeah.
I said, the only thing we don't know if this
got-
kid can do is make a three.
Yeah, we got to kick a field goal. So it's really going to be fun to watch him as he progresses this off season, gets stronger.
I mean, you got to be excited. He comes back another year.
Another year, and if you get a weapon and we can get him consistently kicking in the end zone, that helps your defense right there. That you can pin people and start on the 20-yard line every single time, and I feel like that's the way that he's progressing. If you look on the weekends, it could be any weekend, he's out there kicking field goals, kicking kickoffs.
That's in his nature.
Oh, yeah.
That's in his nature.
And this is going to work. Buddy.
Yeah, so got to love that, you get kids going up there, and he's one of them that, work outside of the normal hours.
He's one of those that you're not going to have to ask to do it.
Yep.
He's going to go out there and do it on his own, and that's what you look for
Yep.
on a football field.
That's it.
That's what you look for in any sport.
Yep.
You look for those guys that, hey, I may want to go ride in the boat, and I may want to go do this. You know what? I'm going to go kick football.
Yep.
That's what you look for.
Yep.
But look, let's talk about this offensive line. Offensive line did a fantastic job. I know you got Big Ryan DeSell over there who's been
Yep.
making the calls all year. They've done a fantastic job. I know you had some in and out, but let's talk about the linebackers.
Okay.
The linebackers are just Jim Burlew and his linebacker status is unbelievable.
I
You've
mean,
had a Jim and Ty. It's
I mean,
Look, and
I-
take nothing away from Ty. The only reason Ty didn't get his
10 solos?
10 solos the other night is because they just put Jim in there beside him. And then once they get that competition on, man, they're fun to watch.
I mean, Ty is our heartbeat over there. I'll say that. Start off with that. He gets everybody aligned. He is making sure everybody's in the right gaps. But then when you take that heartbeat and you put it with the thunder coming down, that's a tough combo right there to stop. You talk about them two running the ball. Well, it's just the same thing on the other side. Those two are going to come down. They're going to hit you. I thought 8 had a great night the other night, laid some big hits. I thought 34, he just has a way to find the ball and go in. And I mean, he's chasing after hogs like he likes to do, and go make the tackle. And that's what he does.
You thought you made some good hits. Let me tell you something. The hit on the quarterback on the sweep.
We knocked the quarterback out of the game.
That
Yep.
It was a clean hit.
Yes, it was.
And he ran through.
Yep.
I mean, he drove his feet in.
He played it exactly like you wanted.
Yes, he did.
You want to do it. I mean,
Yep.
it was low, and he just drove it over him and drove him in.
Yep.
I mean, it was a beautiful tackle. That's
Yep.
what you look for, when you do the tackling dummy during the offseason. I mean,
You're
it was
right.
Exactly like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was phenomenal. He's been fun to watch all year.
All right, Coach. All right, we're going to turn the page, like you say.
Turn the
It's a
page.
fun one.
Yeah, that was it. It's in the past.
Turn the page with 30-8 over Marksville last week. We're going into Gina this week, and listen, it's going to be a tough game going into Gina, big game. Gina won 50-14 over Caldwell last week. So we go on the road again, Coach, but we got to win on the road.
Yep.
We got to win, and now that we've got to win on the road, can we carry that over to Gina?
Yeah, no, I mean, you look at it, on paper, this should be fun. They're 6-3, 3-1 in the district. We're 6-3, 3-1 in the district. We don't want this to be an easy game. We want this to challenge us going into the playoffs. It will only make that first game.
I think it helps you in the playoffs,
It helps you.
regardless of the way the outcome of Friday night is. tomorrow night, it's going to help them for the playoff game.
I mean,
It's a good football team.
You're looking at a team that, last year they were state semifinals. They are a good program. They've, they know how to win year in and year out. And, you talk about that litmus test of where are we? Well, told the kids earlier, this is a great way to know where we are going into the playoffs and playing this bunch. And we're definitely not backing away from anybody. This is a game that is a huge game for us to get number 7. You go 7-3, and then that just enhances what you can do in the playoffs, and that puts you in the top 8. You win this ball game right here. So it's a big game, top to bottom. There's a lot of things that are big about this game for us, and I'm anxious. I mean, I've been wanting to play it all week just to see. We've won 2 in a row. Let's see if we can put together that third game right now.
Well, I think before you have some of these guys, especially some of these freshmen that are coming in now, I think before they're seniors and graduate, I believe you're going to have to beat Gene to win the state championship, because I believe you are going to go into the same bracket. If they can get the LHSAA worked out to select and non-select, this is going to be one of those teams that if you are going to make a run or you're going to make a deep run in the playoffs, this is one of those teams that's going to have to beat.
You got to learn how to beat,
That's
right?
Because I figured that you may, before it's over with, be in the same Division II, Division III non-select.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I look at it from a head coaching position that, they are well established. They've, you look at their kids, they've got a very good weight program installed. These are some of the things that we're installing in our program right here, that the weights year round, summer, off season, these are the things. And so I'm excited to see what our kids do and give us, we're going to go out there and win a ball game, number 7, and then show them, hey, you know what? Now you've played at this level, beaten this level, continue it.
And that'll bring, the Big Mo goes into the playoffs, which is big. You talked about Gina. They got the same record as us.
They do.
Just like last week, on paper, 6-3, 3-1, just like us. Hey, what can we do Friday night to get that edge over? Because this is a big game. I mean, this is a big game. We're going to playoffs no matter what, yes. But you take pride in beating a team that's that close to you, because Gina and Deville is pretty close.
Right.
They're both rural areas. What can we do Friday night to get the edge?
I think offensively we've got to be able to control the clock, limit the turnovers. I thought we've done a real good job the last couple of weeks of, not turning the ball over. We got to sustain drives offensively. Just like I told our offensive line last week, it's going to start with them up front. They've got to play physical. The more physical we are up front, the better off our offense is. We can have the best athletes in the back, best running back in the back, but if we don't play physical football up front, then nothing else matters.
That's right.
And
You have Emmett Smith back there.
that's it. If you can't block,
You're not very physical, it doesn't matter.
and so it's going to start with our guys up front from tackle to tackle.
That mindset.
You're going to have to win. I can tell you now, hands down, this is 9 out of 10 times. To beat a football team like Gina, you're going to have to win in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Because your defensive lineman is not going to have to give up any ground either, because you're going to have to try to make them one-dimensional. You're going to have to do like you did Marshall. You're going to have to take that run away from them. So,
Well, we've got to be able to establish the run offensively.
You've got to establish it. You've got to be able to take it away. You've got to win the battle up front. Right.
Looking at their defense, they're 50 front. They've got 2 inside linebackers, 2 and 3 that, they've been there for a couple years. But we're going to go test them out, and they're going to get a big dosage of 8 and 34. And, I'm putting a lot on our right tackle that he rallies the troops up front, and let's get after him.
Yeah, and he's done, he'll do that.
He is.
Does that. He does a good job,
Yep.
Well, look, we're sitting number 12 in the state. So what's that telling us about the playoffs? Where's that sit us for the playoffs? Things I know we don't like to talk about.
I know you don't like.
This and that and what is. But you got to talk about it sometimes. You on the spot. So
Looking at it, we're going to be in the playoffs. Just the question is where and who. If the playoffs ended today, Like you said, we're actually tied with the team in front of us with a 10-point, I think 990 power ranking. And if it ended in a tie, then they look at our records, and we actually have more wins than they do. So it'd actually be 11 right now. But how they work it out is with the 24 teams that make the playoffs, the first 8 get a first round bye. So the next 9 through 16, they host guys from 17 all the way down to 24. So with that said, right now we would host a first round game.
And that'll be next Friday night?
That would be next Friday night, unless there's other circumstances you got to work it out, whether you play on a Thursday or a Saturday. But yes, right now it would be on a Friday night, 7:00 normal kickoff time. Now this all depends on with power rankings, power points, and what other people around us do. Looking at if you win a ball game like this tomorrow night, we have worked it out, and you can work out your power points that it could possibly bump us up into that top 8.
Right. Up to the top 8.
Right. And then you could
Right now, 5 or 6 in their division?
Yeah, in their division they are. They're in the top. I know they're in the top 8 with theirs. So I mean, looking at that standpoint, it's huge. But as far as knowing who you're playing, when you're playing them, we won't know more about that until Sunday when the brackets come out. And so, but as far as it's a good feeling knowing that you put yourself in this position, that one, for your seniors, we can go ahead and guarantee you got another game next week. What's going to be exciting is when we look up there and say, hey, guess what, guys? You're going to play it at home. They got to come to our place, and you put yourself in a position to play a ball game that you look at that you're going to have a chance to win it.
That's right.
And so
when you're going to get to where you're at, you got a really good chance of winning that football game at home. Especially for your seniors.
I know it.
And it's going to be your first playoff win in Buckeye.
I know. So.
And we at home, and you know how the Panthers play at home.
No.
That's right. So I mean,
no pressure.
I know, no pressure whatsoever.
No pressure. Let's talk about the lineup a little bit. How do we get out of Marksville unscathed?
Yeah, Marksville, we're pretty healthy. I think everybody that went into it came out. They're ready to go. So that's a positive right there. I want to see our guys fight tomorrow night. See us be physical, play fast, and let's get out of there with win number 7 and get into the playoffs. That's what I'm excited for.
You want to see them show up with the belief that they're gonna win.
Yep.
Not that we can win, that they're gonna win.
No, we're gonna win it. That's it.
You get on the field and you play that way, and you refuse to lose. And when the time ends, you'll see what happens.
That's it. Yep.
But that's how we like to see the Panthers play. They've been playing with hair on fire for the past few weeks. Like Coach said, we're going to win number 3. It's week 10. We're going to Gina. If you can't be at Gina, we'd love for you to come out to Gina and support your Panthers out there. We always have a good following. But if you can't make it, tune in to me and Josh on 446 Sports, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We'll be on Facebook and YouTube probably. So if you can't make it out there, tune in. We want to thank our sponsors once again. BK Distributor Scott always takes care of us. All through week 10 here. He's going to take care of us in the playoffs as well. He's our headline sponsor. We thank him for everything he does and his staff. We want to thank Rio Rojo. We love having these coaches shows here with all the Panther fans showing up. We thank y'all, everybody, for coming out. We look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow night in Gina, 7 o'clock. Come get it. Hey, listen, Panthers going for two in the district and trying to get a home playoff game. Everybody give some noise, make some noise for the Buckeye High School football team.